Hari Om Tat Sat. Let us read from another section of the Vachanāmrut. This is a book containing about 300 spiritual discourses. They're relatively short. These discourses were between a great being in the turn of the 19th century known as Bhagwan Swaminarayan and his devotees. Sometimes these discussions can be a little direct, and given the context, these discussions were very personal with people who were very high on the spiritual path. Therefore, when we listen to these discourses, we might not have that guarantee of understanding immediately because the trust was so tight between the direct devotees. But we are always welcome to inquire afterwards if ever a concept arises that you feel we could talk more about. You are welcome to. And reading this isn't an expression of my beliefs necessarily as well, just an exploration of another culture, another spiritual tradition known as the Swaminarayan tradition. Today we are reading Gadhadā 137. Attachment to one's native place. Subtitle 11 Honors. On Posh Vadhi the 14th, Samvat 1876, or the 14th of January 1820, in a more familiar calendar, Swaminarayan, here addressed as Shriji Maharaj, was sitting facing west on a large decorated cot under the neem tree in front of the mandir of Shri Vasudeva Narayan in Dada Khachar's Darbar in Gadhadā. He was wearing a white pug, from which hung a tassel of yellow flowers. Bunches of white flowers had also been placed upon both of his ears, and a garland of yellow and white flowers adorned his neck. He was wearing a white case and had covered himself with a white cotton cloth. At that time, an assembly of munis, as well as devotees from various places, had gathered before him. Thereupon, Shriji Maharaj said, "One who lacks proper understanding cannot abandon their feelings or affection for their birthplace, even though they have renounced the world." So saying, he showed everyone the scar on his thigh where he had been hurt by the stump of a tree during his childhood. Shriji Maharaj then continued, "Whenever I see this scar, that tree and that lake immediately spring to mind. So you see, it is extremely difficult to forget one's birthplace and relatives from within. Now, I would like those amongst you who do not remember their birthplace and bodily relations to confess. For those who do not speak up out of shame, confess in the holy name of Sri Narayan." All the munis subsequently revealed their own situation. After listening to them, Shriji Maharaj said, "If one believes to be the Atma, the true self, soul, consciousness, where is the birthplace of Atma? Who are the relatives of that Atma? Of what gender is the Atma? Moreover, if you wish to maintain relationships with your relatives, then you should also maintain relationships with all of the relatives that you have had throughout your previous lives, in the cycle of 8.4 million life forms. Furthermore, if one wishes for the liberation of one's relatives, then one should wish the same for all. However, just as upon beginning this human life, the parents of the previous 8.4 million life forms have all been forgotten due to ignorance. Similarly, the parents of this human body should be forgotten through knowledge. As for me, I have no affection towards any of my relatives. Moreover, a person may be serving me, but if there is no bhakti, devotion for God, in their heart, I cannot develop a liking for them, even if I try. Even if they are as virtuous as Naraji, a great character in Hindu mythology. If they lack bhakti for God, I do not like them. On the other hand, there is a person who has bhakti for God in their heart. They understand that the manner in which the incarnate form of God resides on this earth, and the manner in which the devotees of God remain in the vicinity of God, is exactly how they remain when the Atyantik Pralay occurs, dissolution. They also understand that God and His devotees eternally possess a form, but never do they understand them to be formless, regardless of any Vedanta scriptures they may hear. Furthermore, they realize that there is no other all-doer in this world besides that source energy, God. And they also realize that without God, even a dry leaf cannot be stirred. A person with such firm conviction that God has a form, even if they are an ordinary person, are still dear to me. 1. Kal. 2. Karma. 3. Hold on a second. I'm confused what these numbers indicate. They indicate the 11 honors bestowed upon the Satpurush, the true person, as indicated in the title. The 11 honors in particular, I am not familiar with. They are being referenced here, and perhaps if you are curious, you may find them. If anyone knows, you are welcome to share them here. But regardless, Kal, Karma, and Maya are unable to administer their power over them. In fact, God Himself imparts any punishment that He is to receive, but no one else has any authority over them that they are to receive, but no one else has any authority over them. On the other hand, I have no respect for a person without such a conviction, even if they happen to have the virtues of renunciation and vairagya. However, a person with firm faith in God in their heart never loses their conviction that God has a form, nor do they ever understand God to be formless, like a mass of light, regardless of how many scriptures they may hear or the company that they may keep. A saint with such a conviction, so highly respected by me, that even I place the dust of their feet on my head. In my mind, I am afraid of harming them, and I also long to have their darshan. Ocelot, I can turn down the volume a little bit for you if you feel like it is too loud. So thank you for sharing that with me. A person without such a conviction attempts to attain liberation using the strength of their own spiritual endeavors, but they do not strive for it by relying on the grace of God. Such a senseless person is as foolish as someone wishing to cross the ocean without the aid of a ship by their own efforts. Conversely, one who wishes for liberation through the grace of God is wise, like one who wishes to cross the ocean with the help of a ship. After leaving their body, all those with such knowledge of God's form attain a form of Chaitanya, pure awareness in the abode of God, and forever remain in their service in His presence. But if a person has endeavored without having such a conviction, then they will go to dwell in the realms of other devas, deities. In fact, the darshan, the divine seeing of such a true bhakta, devotee of God, is equivalent to the darshan of God Himself. They are so great that their darshan alone can redeem countless wretched jivas, individuals. Having delivered this discourse, Shriji Maharaj then requested, "Now please sing a devotional song." Thus we conclude reading from Gadhadā 1:37 on attachment to one's native place and the 11 honors. I am sorry that I am unaware of the 11 honors which were indirectly referenced. I briefly read over the numbers and skipped many since I have no reference sheet myself. And that goes to show why it is important when we are reading scripture to go to a qualified guru who has read that scripture and is familiar with it themselves. I cannot claim to have any qualifications myself, as this is my first time reading it, but if anything that I share piques your interest, you're welcome to go searching for those whom do know more. Without further ado, we may return to our regular format, but I thank you all for listening with me. And I think there were important messages in there about treating everyone with love, equal love, not just our parents and relatives, and having no specific ties to any place when our Atma, our true self, is beyond birth,